Hello and welcome. Crop circles, mantis beings, and stargates. What do they all have in common? Well, during this episode, we are going to dive in and find out. So, Emily, let's start with crop circles because Emily has been having adventures.
I
Such adventures.
have. So crop circles are something that I found curious, but I've never gone down the energetic spiral / rabbit hole about them until summer solstice. And Lucy and I had our little impromptu trip to Avebury, which all the car parks were fully booked. You know, we had not planned this. We went down very late afternoon after work, and I said, "Oh, there's a white horse down the road. Let's go check that out, see what that's all about." And we will share about that experience. But a few days later, I received an email, and it was about a crop circle, and it had a white horse in the background. And I was like, I know that landscape so well because we really studied that.
We were there for a long time.
We were just questioning this landscape so much. It was so unusual. So much was coming through for us. And a crop circle, a Pleiadian crop circle appeared. And then a week and a weekend went by, and I think you know, there's a lot going on in the collective. There's a lot going on for me personally. And so it was just a weekend of actually downtime, I think, and probably integrating a lot, to be fair. But then by Monday, Tuesday, I was like, crop circle. I need to go to that crop circle. It just overwhelmed me. I mean, talk about felt truth. And so I was like, I want to do a little event. I mean, in hindsight, really, I hadn't thought about trespassing. I mean, the adventurer in me was like, well, it's a field of corn. Why wouldn't you be allowed to go in? Of course. And normally my health and safety and all these protocols would be like, I'm very cautious. And I'm sure that would have kicked in had I been with other people.
But that just goes to show that you were following your felt truth.
Yeah, and not my logical mind. I mean,
and you're so logical.
Yeah. So, because I love all the planning of these things. And so Friday, I just couldn't wait. I could not wait to get in the car. I was like, well, if I go on Saturday as well, then great. But let's go. So,
I mean, sorry, I've just got to pause there.
Yeah, of course.
Her plan was to go originally like Saturday or Sunday, and then it was Saturday, and then it was Friday because she couldn't wait until the Saturday. That's how much you were being drawn.
I couldn't. And
so
it
lovely.
was just a ridiculous donk day. And I'd really done as much as I could. And it was going to be a bit of a waiting game. And there was nothing I could physically do. There was no more telephone calls I could make to kind of resolve these issues with another area of work. But it was dire. Like, let's not beat around the bush here.
Yeah, it was a particularly tricky day, wasn't it?
It really was. And I just thought, I need to be in nature and I need to go find this crop circle. And because I'd heard that when you spend time in a crop circle, there's beautiful frequencies, there's gorgeous energy, there's been an exchange from above and below. And I was curious to know more. And so, I mean, I didn't even know kind of what field it was in, but I just thought, oh, my navigation will figure it out. And I kind of turned into where I thought the field would be, and there was a man with his sports car and the bonnet up, and I pulled up in front of him, but giving quite a nice fair chunk of space, and he started to walk towards me, and I just thought, that's unusual, because he didn't seem like a farmer, so I didn't think it was his land. And he said, oh, can I help you? I said, yes, please. I'm looking for a crop circle. And he didn't bat an eyelid. He did not bat an eyelid. He said, I'm a pilot, and there's no crop circles in these fields. And I said, well,
Emily's like, I know there is because I've seen one.
You're lying. But I didn't say my truth. And I just said, oh, well, I did see one, and it was across from here, and this white horse. And he went, oh, no, the only crop circle around here is across from Cheryl. And I went, who's Cheryl? And he points to another white horse in the distance. And I was like, oh, and only recently did I learn that there's 16 of these white horses. So the hills around Silbury and Avebury are covered with chalk. And it's a very special topography to be a conduit of energy. And so what people have done over years, hundreds of years in some cases, is they've carved out the shape of a horse on the earth, and they'll go back every year and they'll redo this. And so from a distance, you see a beautiful white horse, and they're quite different in their artistic. Like some are a bit like Matisse, some are very realistic. And so he pointed to another one, and I was like,
well, I'm going there then.
yes. And I got there and I was just giddy beyond belief, just absolutely giddy. I'm going to find a crop circle. And it was so intricate and so beautiful. And people had shared with me as I was, because I was like, there's a crop circle. And they said, and I mentioned the other one that I'd originally come down to see. And they said, oh, the farmer mowed over that quite recently. And I looked out to the field that I wanted to go and explore, and there was a huge
combine harvester.
Yeah, doing its thing. But me being me hadn't processed any of this, because I just felt like a kid in a candy store. I'd gone from just worst day ever to just another high. And that's kind of spiritual life at the moment, isn't it? These ups and downs of life. And so I ran down to this crop circle and got kind of 2 wits into this combine harvester mowing thing and thought, these things are ginormous. And I know I'm a risk taker, but really, am I going to be able to meditate in the middle of this field? I mean, I even did an Instagram live there. Like, this isn't me. I don't just randomly do a live like that with that much, without any thinking. And I thought, fine, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to just meditate and try and connect with it, really. And so I walked up to this white horse, because the white horse was facing this crop circle, and was kind of mesmerized by this tractor, really, because my logical mind was like, how do I get in there? How do I get in there? And I thought, well, maybe find another image of it and you can connect with that image, because it was at an angle I couldn't quite see down, and it was so intricate. And as I was able to kind of transport myself into it for moments, and then it was just giant swirls of energy kind of coming up and down from the grass. I think I took a little video of my sprinkler just to kind of show you the shape of that, the spirals that I was kind of seeing and feeling from being in that shape. But I couldn't tune in too much more, I don't think, because I just wanted to get in there. But it was windy and it was warm, and I thought, I do probably need to be out of the sun now, so I probably should get going. And I was just thinking, well, do you think I could just walk across this white horse? Because the other one had been cordoned off and you couldn't walk across it. But this one you could. But I was like, ooh, is that respectful? I don't know. And I felt someone walking across it behind me and thought, oh, well, I guess I can. And so I got up, and there was a horse closer than Lucy is to me. Like,
amazing.
Here, its big nose. And I was like, oh, be calm, be cool. Don't show you're nervous. I don't want this horse to like react and do something, because I'm really on a hill at this point. And so I don't really have my footing too well. And it was very clear. I did get some photos, but that horse did not want me there. It did not want me there. And I was like, oh, keeper of the land, I'm so sorry I hadn't connected to ask permission to kind of sit here and so on. And I thought, oh, I'll go and take a photo from another angle. Well, all of a sudden another horse turned up, and she did not want me there either.
Wow.
And so I just thought, right. And it just led me on a day of just so many coincidences, so much healing, so much learning, so relief from the current situation. And, I had moments where I was like back on the email doing the kind of more 3D things that you've got to do to keep things moving. But, that man that just happened to be there, that didn't look friendly per se, that was like, oh, you want to go to Cheryl? Go over there. Go check out that crop circle. I mean, what's the probability? You can't make this up, can you?
I think that's incredible. And also something that we speak about often as well, which is, messengers, they can come through people that aren't necessarily that friendly or aren't necessarily your frequency. That's why the felt truth thing comes in. because just because it's coming from someone that you don't get a good vibe from doesn't always mean, I hate to sound confusing and conflicting, but it doesn't always mean that there isn't a genuine message in there. You have to feel, and you felt like, oh, wow, great, okay, perfect. You felt that was a yes. You knew he was just a messenger.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
I mean,
I can't believe he was there.
I had so many questions for him, but I thought, don't go down there. He's not going to tell you the
You
things
knew
you want to know. Yeah.
Wasn't interested. But he knew about the crop circles. Amazing.
I know. Phenomenal. So, yes, a lot more to just, I think, taking a group of people to a crop circle than just turning up. You don't know that they're necessarily going to be there, trespassing, permission, all these other things that raise questions around. But,
and I think that's why Emily and I, generally speaking, do a little recce, don't we?
And we're learning more about why.
Yeah. Well, but that was why I think you had your lesson.
And I did.
And I had my lesson before when I went down to the fairy kingdom to check out what that was about before we took
stunning.
But I had mishaps happening. I got
didn't
stuck
you?
in the
You
mud,
were daisy.
and I was like, "Yeah, I need to make sure that I take them a different way." And So it's nice. They're almost kind of initiations for us when we go ahead before taking other people. Isn't that interesting? So perhaps one of the reasons you were guided down there on that Friday was because it had gone. You didn't realise it. You could have taken people and there was nothing to take them to.
I know.
You know, all those lovely, beautiful lessons, but wrapped up in pure magic.
Yeah.
And, you know, same with me. I just had the most magical experience when I went down doing a bit of a recce for one of our Avebury events. It was just pure, and I learned so much that I could then share when we came down. So, you know, that's kind of what we've been doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All these little journeys to just explore where we're being guided. We're being guided for a reason, whether it's to do the work on that day or just explore and understand the energies in these places. And I feel like that. What was the other thing, if you don't mind sharing, sweetheart? Something about your phone. You found out afterwards, I think, that the energies, I don't want to answer it for you, but the energies.
Oh my goodness. So I started to delve into crop circles, and apparently they just can destroy technology. So that could have been my phone gone,
and it could have been a group of people's phones.
I know.
So you know, we're learning.
Is that like when you're so excited, like if you found like your new favorite ice cream flavor, do you not want other people to try it or something? Like it's kind of like that I just wanted to share people. Or you see a good movie, you want to tell everyone about it.
That was so sweet of you.
And
so sweet of you.
But my guides were like,
you were like,
sure you don't want to go in your room?
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, it will be fine if you take other people, but are you sure you don't? And my nervous system probably hadn't have taken it because I would have been so stressed. I probably wouldn't have turned over at that point. I mean, who knows? But
you had a great journey and a great adventure.
It was incredible. And not only that, I also learned that not all crop circles are for people to be in. So many are, and I was learning all of this from Freddie Silver. He's fascinating. He's definitely an expert in this field.
Amazing.
And so that was my kind of felt truth, and that was again the tip of the iceberg for that day. It was still more and more unfolded, and so. Yeah, these incredible experiences, aren't they?
They are. But we're definitely feeling the energetic, I can't not talk about it, you know, the energy within these spaces and Wiltshire and these hills. You know, there's just so much energy, potent energy, and clearly we're starting to realise, and I'm sure many people have known for a very long time, people are authors of these amazing books about crop circles, you know, they really do align with the energies underground, that deep underground there is crystalline energies, and that's how, and I remember my guides telling me this years ago, because I remember somebody asked a question about crop circles, so I asked my guides, and they were explaining that they are able to create them because of the frequencies underneath. The frequency has to be right, and it's like an imprint, a sacred geometry or geometrical is the word I was struggling for there. Imprint, and that there's such an importance to that geometry. And I heard from somebody else recently that geometry is a way of bringing things into form in our reality.
That's right.
Bringing things into
Flower of
form.
life. Right?
So, yes, we have waves and we have frequency and we have energy, but geometry brings it into form and brings it into this reality, this 3D somehow. Don't ask me how. That I wish I could remember the wonderful man who is just this sacred geometry and mathematical expert. If I can remember, I'll add it to the link. Oh, he's wonderful. He's an Australian man. Do you know the man? He's Australian. But anyway, so he was talking about that. And that put a little piece in the puzzle for me with the crop circles. I was like, that explains crop circles and how we're just bringing and locking those frequencies in.
Yeah, because there's ley lines underneath the ground, which is where energy travels along. I think kind of like arteries, but then there's also telluric lines of energy as well, which are different, and they flow through the earth, maybe more like meridians. And then you've got these nodes, and that's often where these crop circles will appear. And so it's well, I guess coming into the mantis beings a little bit, and the way that they, I'm starting to understand, because you were kind of like, we'll channel them. When we were at the first white horse,
on the spot.
I was like,
it was literally standing next to the first white horse, weren't we? And she was asking about them. You were just asking about them, talking about them. I went, sit down then. Sit down and channel them now. And she went, oh, okay. But there was a perfect little seat for you, wasn't there, made of moss?
Oh,
and I went
there,
stunning. And there was just this, it's like it appeared for her to sit on, a little mossy throne. Sorry, carry on.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And then just after that, we connected with some trees separately, but this group of trees. And I turned around to walk back towards Lucy, and I said, I think I've just been a conduit because I was barefoot for the whole of this. I think I've gotten some information from Gaia, and it's been moved up, and some information up there has been moved down. And then, of course, the crop circle coming, but you had just been channeling the Pleiadians. I think before the mantis.
Was it the Galactic Council and then the Pleiadians stepped forward or something like that? I can't even remember, if I'm completely honest. So we were doing all sorts.
Yeah, that's why we think we're going to start to document this a little bit more, because it gets a little bit.
We're doing a lot each time. So much happens, doesn't it? It was. I think people would find it interesting to know. I mean, and actually, it would be interesting for us to rewatch.
Yeah.
Sometimes forget. I was connecting to deep inner earth, really deep in the earth. Do you remember that? But Emily was doing her own thing, so she may not remember. This is the thing. We're just doing so much. I want to come back to the mantis beings, though. But before we do, so I remember connecting with a tree and it explaining to me how important it is at this time with being a conduit for such high vibrational frequencies, which we need to be because we're raising the frequency more and more. As we are bringing through higher frequencies, we have to anchor ourselves really deeply into the earth. Or certainly me on a personal level when I'm doing the work that I'm doing. That's all I could speak to really. And that was my experience. Grounding is important for all of us, especially with the frequencies coming through the Schumann resonance and all of these high vibrational solar flares and things like that. Grounding is more important than ever for us all.
So I think that's what the basic of that message was, connecting to deeper. Do you not think?
No,
the higher you're going, the more you're going down.
I think all of us need to have that acknowledgement. But I think in particular, they was talking about the work that I do to anchor in these very and be that bridge for very high vibrational energies. That's just what they were. Sorry, that's just what they were saying at that time. But you're so right. It makes sense for the collective. It makes sense for all of us. As things are raising. We have to anchor deeper. Makes complete sense. But before I forget, I want to talk about the mantis being. We're not getting away with it. Because I feel like there's stuff that needs to be shared. Because when I connected to a mantis being, bless him, actually no, he wasn't a mantis being. He was some creature that we are not necessarily. We couldn't put a label on him as a species, that kind of thing. And he was very much saying that he was a messenger. He was part of the Galactic Council, but he was saying that he was a messenger who was here to try and help the collective understand that. I don't want to use the word alien beings, but let's just say beings that exist in other realms
Hmm.
don't look the same as humans. And we have to wrap our heads around that, guys. We have to start to really wrap our heads around that. Because, what happens is if we see something that we don't that doesn't align with how we look, fear comes in. It's inherent in our programming, and we as a collective need to really work on this, and we're being called to work on this, within our own human species, much more acceptance and unity within us all. But then that needs to be mirrored out into the cosmos and into the other realms, and we have to understand that other beings don't look the same. So I just wanted to say that was a really strong message that he brought through a month or so ago, that we're going to have to start to talk about this and understand that it's okay, that just because something doesn't look like us, that it doesn't mean it's evil, it doesn't mean it's scary, it doesn't mean it's threatening. And that's really big, because I know there's a lot of people out there, big governments that are scared of.
And how can you tell?
Felt truth, exactly.
Yeah.
But so with that said, sorry, I just want to kind of like put that out there before we talk about the mantis beings, because I just want everybody to just open to it, because Emily would not be bringing through a being, because she's the kindest person in the world with a very loving, pure heart. She wouldn't be bringing through a being that had any ill intention. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Oh, that's really kind. Yeah, I remember the first time that kind of praying mantis energy came through. I was connecting with my guides, and this I do have recorded. I used to record a lot of my beginnings channeled messages, and I felt it was a masculine presence, but again, that was just my lens on it. Because I was having this beautiful conversation with these lovely kind of more Pleiadian kind of energy feelings to it. And he just stepped through and just was like, well, look, I'm just going to give you an upgrade for your throat. And I said, well, that was a little bit rude. You just interrupted. Oh, they'll talk for ages. If you give them a microphone, they'll just talk for ages. You need this quick upgrade. And he kind of did this, like, I don't know, it was almost a bit of the Arcturian kind of thing in my throat. Yeah, and then seeing one in Cyprus, right, on the board game I was going to play. And normally I would be like, oh, but scared. But I was like, no, be cool around all these things.
I mean, that just speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and when it happens, it just happens so quickly, and you're kind of there, and it's just another frequency, it's just another experience. And
But you dug deeper with the mantis being, didn't you? And you uncovered that there's a sort of a soul lineage, really, I suppose, that you've had some kind of experience with them.
Yeah, I think they're a way of getting information. They're quite black and white in that sense. They're not really on the emotional side of healing. They're more kind of the gathering of information, at least from my limited experience. I've kind of forgotten whatever else I shared with you.
I remember.
This is why it's important to share with your buddies.
Yeah, it really is, because you were deep in channeling, and I heard what was coming through, and it was. I heard her. She was sitting on her mossy chair, and yeah, they were saying that you have had an experience with them before, and you came at a particular time, and you were there as like sort of information gatherer, and that's what they like to do, and but they're not ever doing it for purposes that are in any way on the darker side of things.
No, they're more like a chemistry teacher. Like what's the makeup
research?
Yeah, what's the makeup of planet Earth at the moment? Yes. What's the frequency going on?
And they said they wanted to sort of monitor it through you to support the greater project that is going on here with our planet. So that's what they were saying, that they wanted to come through you because you have worked in that way before. Yeah, that's what they said.
I guess when I channel, I'm so serious because I respect it so much that you are a bit otherly sometimes, aren't you? I don't think everyone always remembers when they channel what they've channeled, but I do remember then probably 20 minutes later, half an hour later with that tree, and then going, oh, that was the type of work they did. Just very quick, easy.
Yeah. Anybody else who's experimenting with channeling, I'm sure you feel the same. You know, the messages and downloads when they come through are so clear. They're like crystal clear, aren't they? And really obvious. And then I know
it seems like you're sharing the most obvious thing in the world when you're channeling it
doing
yourself. And then you're like, what did I say?
And I try and repeat it sometimes. That's why it's good that Emily and I exchange with each other. But I try and repeat it sometimes and think, oh, it's kind of gone. Like the thread of it's gone. Like I understand the essence of it and I've received the message, but the way it flowed and the words to articulate it, you know, we've forgotten a lot of that mantis channeling. We should have recorded it. So I'm wondering if maybe this is nice for people to hear so that they can think, oh yeah, I struggle with that too. Like my downloads come and they seem so obvious, and then I revisit them.
Voice note them. Voice
notes are really the way forward for me, because I used to automatic write.
It helps to integrate, doesn't it?
It does.
I guess the journaling as well would be helpful. The automatic writing. I
found automatic writing does help to kind of get the messages in, but for me, I just have stacks of notepads, stacks and stacks, and I'm never going back to them. I have done actually. Yesterday I found one and I was like rereading.
I'm never going back to them.
Actually, well, yesterday I did. And I really mean for the first time it was from 2021.
Wow.
Channeling from 2021. And actually reflecting on that was so interesting because I channeled that as fresh news to me. And now it's the collective understanding.
That's phenomenal. I love that.
Now
How
it's like,
quickly
not
changed.
Not the collective understanding as in, no, I'm just going to say the conscious collective understanding. Those who are consciously aware, that's out there now. Whereas when I channeled that in 2021, I'd never heard of it.
That's fascinating.
I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, oh, I know that now. But I definitely didn't know it when I channeled it. Sorry, sidetracked there.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. We're expanding, guys. It's happening. It's happening. Sorry.
So that was that was a tip of the iceberg of my Friday. And then on Sunday, Lucy decides that it's time for her to jump in her car and see where the road takes her. And
oh my gosh. Was this on the same weekend?
Yeah.
No, was it really?
And this is all happening around the 7/7 portal.
Yes.
And which we know is the veil is thinner. And what happened on the 6th of the 7th, then on that Sunday?
I went to Chobham Common, and I wasn't sure. I woke up knowing that I was going to go somewhere and do some work, but I didn't know what it was.
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Lucy sent some photos. And they were of some ferns. And I was like, I know those ferns.
I recognise the ferns.
It's Chobham. That's how well I know Chobham Common. Even the fauna, I'm like, those are Chobham Common ferns. I just know it.
They must have a specific frequency.
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's their auric field that I'm picking up.
Because there's ferns everywhere. You knew, lady. She knew.
Sorry. We digress.
You tuned in.
I want to get to the good bit.
So anyway, I can't remember what I was saying now. So I didn't know where I was going, and Emily had asked me, and I said, oh, I think I'm going to do some work, not really sure where, kind of going with the flow with it because that's the best way. And I think I'm going to this other place that I've been to before and done some energy work. But then I found myself when I got in the car, I wasn't going there. And it was Chobham Common. And so I just, again, didn't really know what I was doing there. But I did take some bits and pieces to do some work with the waters there because I really felt the water priestess work, I feel like, is coming through as a remembering for me, and I just was bringing more of that remembering through, and it did as I was sitting there working with the water in a kind of ritual ceremony sense. More was revealed to me, more kind of remembering, which was really beautiful. But there were quite a few people around that body of water, and I felt like it's time for me to move on. And so I ended up going to this portal that I've been to before with Emily. We found ourselves there, which we've probably shared in one of these episodes.
We did.
It was there, but
beautiful circular clearing there. I'd always wanted to go through, and we paused. And I said that to Lucy because you were like, look at this beautiful
it's an amazing
space.
portal.
And I said, I've always wanted to go in, but I've never found a pathway in. And then right in front of me, it was right there.
Because it was meant to be then.
Yeah. And how you didn't get your feet all boggy on Sunday when it had been all wet.
Wow.
And you basically have to walk through a bit of a bogland to get to the
There was
portal.
A pathway carved out a completely different way than we've ever. That way that we normally go was not there at all.
Yeah,
Wasn't there at all.
That's the common, yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Wow.
And there was this gorgeous walkway through the heathers, and the heathers are in bloom. And so the bees are on all around you, which is beautiful. But I was very aware that every step I was next to a bee around my ankle. And so I spoke to the bees, and I said, please, can you grant me safe passage? Because I feel like I'm here to do some work for the land or work for something. So please, can you make sure that I don't get stung? I'm not here to hurt you. And do you know what? I just felt like every single step was guided. And how I didn't step on a bee or get stung by a bee, I don't know, because there was absolutely hundreds, if not thousands of them. So anyway, that was a lovely walk, really. And the pathway was just unreal. Like, I've never had such a solid pathway there. Normally it's a little bit precarious. It was going around the side, and then it opened up into this perfect pathway to the centre. And I just couldn't believe it. It was easy.
From where we did our writing, our light language writing on the ground, from that area.
From where there's that wooden slatted path.
From there, yeah.
From there,
okay,
to where we normally go, but
Yeah.
I got guided all the way round a completely different way. To the right.
See, I need to know these details.
But I think at different seasons that it would
so that
be
is where
different.
we wrote the light language down.
Yeah.
Right in there. Anyway,
So I walked down this little heather, heather, surrounded by heather, but there was just enough for my feet, all the way down to the centre. It felt like the real true centre, I have to say. It really felt like I was very central, which we'd never been able to access that before.
we kind of get to a point where it ends and we're like,
So overgrown.
"Oh, this looks like the centre."
But weirdly, there was just like nothing. It was clear apart from the heather. It was so bizarre. It was like being in a different space. The landscape was completely different. Anywho, so I got to the centre and I just felt myself connecting to this portal again and being guided to do something, which something sort of just kicks in and comes over me where it's not me anymore. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's a guide. I would say it's my higher self. So it's a part of me that remembers how to do this work. So it's beyond my logical mind. I just have a way of quietening my mind and just allowing this part of me to come through and do this sort of work. And so, yes, that part of me was doing the work, and it was connecting to the grid of this space. It's like a gateway grid thing, energetically, and doing something to unlock and open it, and connect it to a Sirian Starfleet, is what I was told. And I was like, okay. But because it's all done energetically, it's not like you're seeing these beings there in person. There's no craft there, although there was a huge, great big cloud hovering in one part. And then all the clouds everywhere else, I've taken that video for you, all went back beyond the trees of this portal. And it was just this one craft-shaped cloud hovering that just didn't move. And I know now, having done this work before, that when there's a cloud that doesn't move and all the other clouds go away, that's kind of a bit of a sign for me. I think that's the way my guides work with me, to show me themselves but not show themselves. So yeah, that's what I did, and it was very casually done, and I don't say that flippantly, but that's how it felt. It just was like, it just was effortless. It really, really was.
And you said it didn't take too long either.
Take too long. I can't tell you how long I was there for, but I must just say, as I was coming up to the centre part, after I'd gone through most of the bees, a giant bee, and I mean, it felt like it was like that big. It wasn't, but it was bigger than all of the other bees, came for me. And I thought, oh my God, it's like, it's wanting to, bees are normally quite passive, aren't they? They would rather get out of your way. This bee came for me. It was loud. I heard it before I saw it. I was like, what is that noise? Huge bee came for me and went all around my head, all around my ears. And I just was like, I just had to just stand there and I did not know what to do, because it happened really quickly. And then it just went off. And it was, and when I say it went off, it just sort of disappeared. It just must have I don't know where it went. It was just a weird moment. But again, like one of those magical weird moments. And it just disappeared. And I just felt that it was thanking me for being careful, and honouring the land, because I was saying prayers to the land and honouring the land with every step, sending so much love and gratitude for just being sort of granted that passage without getting stung, because I really could have been stung to bits. And I was saying how I don't want to sting a bee because I know that that would be fatal for the bee. It wouldn't hurt me that much, but it would be fatal for the bee. And I was just talking to the bees in that way. So when that huge bee came along, I just felt like it was saying thank you for honouring us and thank you for being careful and acknowledging us. It was really, really special. And then I connect the craft, and then I did the gate thing. So
Tell us more about the gate thing.
I don't know. I don't really know.
I mean, who opens stargates? And it's just, that's what she does on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Apparently.
And so you were sharing a bit more about what this gate will...
It was they were saying that it was a connector, a way of them being able to connect with the frequencies of Earth at this time, like a bridge for them and what they said was like, normally different frequencies come through my physical body and I anchor the energies down. But so I sort of stood there expecting that to happen. And they said, no, you don't need to do this. Now that you've opened this gateway, we can do that ourselves. So I don't know if anyone knows any more about that or has heard any more about that and wants to share in the comments. Be fascinated to hear, because they were very much, your work here is done. And I was like, oh, okay then. Do I just go now? So yeah, I just felt like there wasn't really anything else to do.
And you were questioning then what is the purpose of why they needed you, weren't you?
Yep, to open it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Which makes complete sense,
so
doesn't
if
it?
they do anything and everything's energy, why do they need you? Is it the permission?
It is
the keepers of the land in that sense, individuals?
Definitely. They definitely need us to do certain things. Otherwise they just do it themselves. And I think it is to do with the laws of free will. And I think we have to be part of the experience,
and we
for
probably
it to
want
be real.
to be, don't we, in our soul contracts?
I think it's a field of energy.
Yeah.
It's some kind of, we're the ones that are connected, is what's coming through for me now. We're the ones that are in this reality experience, and they're not. They're in another dimension.
That's right.
We need to anchor in we need to create the experience in this. So by me doing that, I was creating the opening. I was creating something for them to then partake in that. Am I making sense?
Beautiful, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because if they didn't have someone in this 3D doing that, then they couldn't. It is that bridge, and we always get called bridges, don't we?
Yeah.
Channelers. So it's being that bridge, which is basically my job. That is the work I do in life in general. And anyone who's doing this work, if you're doing this work, if you're channeling energy, if you're doing Reiki, if you are doing this light work, we're all just being these little light beings, bridging dimensions. That's what we're here to do in so many different ways. It could be that you're an artist and you're bringing in, beautiful codes through your codes and frequencies through your art or your writing. Word codes are the same. It's all about energy.
Well, look at the movie that you were watching, Letters to Verona. Is that what it was called?
Letters to Juliet.
Letters to Juliet. I mean, it's a, it is what it is, but it brought back a huge remembering for you. So we never really know how our work and our art and our play is gonna come through.
And it comes through differently for different people. I've got clearly a very odd little path I'm on, which other people might listen to and think, what is she talking about? But it's my truth, it's my path.
Yeah.
I can't deny it. It's for me, it's what feels right for me. It wouldn't feel like I was living my truth if I wasn't doing it. And I think this is the same with Emily, and this is why we've come across each other on our paths, because we have a lot of alignment with our soul purposes, don't we? So what is it that you're being called to do as part of this awakening? What is it you're being called to bridge, to anchor in to this reality? Because it's unique for you. And that's important, to use that felt truth, to feel what is true for me, what am I led to? And also, I just want to add really quickly, what feels easy? Because walking into a field and opening a stargate feels easy to me. It feels like, doesn't feel hard.
How do those words flow out of her mouth? It's just...
opening a stargate is easy when you know how, right? And this is the thing.
Yeah, and you have been so guided. You get the instructions just
It's part of me that remembers how to do it already. It's the same with Lemurian crystal grids and working with water. It's part of me that remembers already. I've somehow opened that up, activated it within my field's DNA.
Right?
Exactly. And so everybody else out there has unique gifts that they are bringing through. So explore. I want to encourage every single one of you light workers, because anyone watching this, the lights just are flickering. The lights are flickering a lot. Every one of you light workers. Oh my gosh, they're doing it a lot. Oh golly, hi guys. They're all here. They're like, yes, Lucy, yes, tell them. But you're all here. Gosh, it's almost like time froze for a second there. Wow, that was like a bit of a bridging that just happened.
You got to witness that.
You got to witness it. They're saying, follow your heart, follow what feels easy, follow what feels natural, what you love to do. Sorry if you've heard this a million times before in your life, but I just want to say it again, that it's important. It's what you came here for. Whatever you love, whatever lights you up. Like even that word, lights you up, that means you're bringing more light in. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're holding more light to shine through. So beautiful. Yeah, play, dance. It's so important, especially when we do the energy work. That's what I'm learning more and more, that I kind of have such a reverence for it, take it seriously, because I respect the work. And they're like, oh, will you just have some fun, dear one? Just enjoy this dance. And
well, there's two ways of doing it, isn't there?
Yeah.
We can either do it through the mind and through the old doctrinated ways, or we can just have fun with it. And what would we rather choose?
Just be and experience and let it all come through, because that's the way, isn't it, really?
I think that's how we activate the remembering as well, because there's so much more remembering that can be activated when we do less. It's when you just go along and doing nothing that all of this opens up.
Yeah.
Just going for a walk and then, whoa, okay, I'm opening a stargate. Honestly, it's the key. Do less.
And have more fun.
when you're doing your love work at work.
Any experiences and you want to share your 7/7 experience, please do. We'd love to hear it. And yeah, if there's anything that you'd like us to explore and delve into, we'd love to hear. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and share. We're so grateful for you all watching and enjoying.
Thank you for watching.
Until next time. Bye. Joyful blessings. Thanks for joining us today. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you want to work with us directly, see the show notes below. Thank you.